Hello everyone, welcome back. This is RandoGEEK. We have an update regarding T-Mobile. The link for the article can be found down below in the description. It is coming from Android Authority. T-Mobile is adding what they're calling a profiling feature that is automatically turned on with smartphone devices. What is the purpose of this feature? Well, this feature, which may leave many consumers feeling a little bit uneasy given T-Mobile's track record of security breaches and, just overall not being the best in protecting customers' privacy and information. This feature will basically be turned on automatically. You can turn it off, but you'll have to do this manually. You'll have to go into the settings and turn it off in order for T-Mobile to no longer be able to profile you, or aka spy on you, as many consumers would refer to this as. What is the purpose of this? Well, it's basically T-Mobile has turned this on automatically so they can track user data. Basically, your web searches, the types of websites you go to, the types of apps you use, times of day that you do all of this activity, location tracking, etc., all that good stuff that pretty much happens every day, regardless of whether you allow them or approve for them to do it or not. Google does it all the time. You know you're being tracked. We know for a fact that if you simply say one thing out loud, your phone is listening, and an hour later, maybe even 5 minutes later, you'll start seeing advertisements on your phone for what you just talked about. We know that we're being spied on 24/7 by our smartphones, computers, you name it. Basically, there's no privacy left thanks to technology, modern technology. Within the last 10 years, this is how it's been. It's just going to get worse. So to make a big deal about this, not really necessary, but I can see why some consumers would be upset, especially given, like I said, the track record of T-Mobile having your information. So now apparently this information was given to Android Authority, or Android Authority got it off of someone on Reddit who basically shared a screenshot, which, like I said, will be in a link down below for you in the description. And basically it's what you would see. Profiling and automated decisions. Make your choice about profiling and automated decisions. Then there's a toggle on and toggle off switch, which says you can tell us not to use your personal data for certain kinds of profiling that we might do in the future. This toggle allows you to opt out of having profiling used for future decisions that produce legal or similarly significant effects about you. We don't use profiling to make these kinds of decisions now. Turning this off or gray means opt out of profiling and automated decisions. So they're saying notably users were never directly notified about this feature addition or the policy change, plus the fact that the toggle is enabled by default raises serious concerns about breach or trust. As consumers, we should have the power to explicitly consent to this type of data collection rather than being forced to opt out manually. Of course, to turn this off, you would sign in, toggle this feature off by logging in to your T-Mobile account with your full account permissions. On desktop, click Edit Profile Settings. On your mobile app, tap More Than Profile Settings. Find Privacy and Notifications and select Privacy Dashboard. Scroll down to find Profiling and Automated Decisions section, and then you can turn it off. They're saying, unfortunately, T-Mobile does not allow you to turn this feature off for your entire account at once. So you must repeat these for each individual line under your account, which is really annoying. But that's pretty much how you can turn it off. And again, it's basically a way for T-Mobile to kind of just basically see what you're doing and sell you things. But the question here is, the problem here is, one, that it's automatic, right? It turns it on for all of your lines. So it's annoying, it's inconvenient, and many consumers are not going to know about this unless they happen to either see this video or see the article from somewhere else, another content creator, or in their news feed. But there are some consumers that just don't pay attention to that stuff. They don't follow it, and they'll never know. And basically T-Mobile has their information by default, and is basically just tracking everything. And if the consumer found out about that, they might feel really uptight about that, really not happy about that. So it shouldn't be by default. There should be like a law against these types of things where you should always be made aware of what's happening, and you should always have the option. Companies should never just be allowed to start tracking you. You know, it's disrespectful. You're the client, you're the one paying the company is not paying you. And again, you know, this is 2024. This is how it's been for the last 10 years. Things are just going to get worse when it comes to technology evolving and us being spied on. But there has to be a fine line. And the FCC would really need to step up in this situation and try to put an end to these types of things where consumers are being forced or made unaware of them being stalked, if you want to call it, or spied on, however you want to refer to this. But that's my opinion. I don't really care, because what are they going to find? Nothing. I'm just a regular person that just looks at mobile phone news and watches YouTube. So it's not like I'm guilty and I got to worry about it, but I can see why some consumers might not want their information out there. Now, certainly my concern is T-Mobile with their security, right? They're just not reliable. And not that any of these carriers are, but T-Mobile has really right now about the worst track record when it comes to data breaches and securing customer information. T-Mobile, AT&T is catching up. You know, we got news about them too. Another video will be coming out about that when I have time. Definitely got to update you with that. This is big as well. It's a follow-up. But anyway, you know, so I don't know. This is the information here. This is how you can get rid of it. Hopefully this is helpful for you. If you didn't know about it, now you do. And I don't blame you for being displeased with T-Mobile's behavior by automatically setting this on, but you can turn it off. Just make sure that if you have multiple lines that you do this for each line, if that's how you want it. Otherwise, you know, you're gonna have some of these lines being tracked. And it's not to say that they won't still be doing it some way. You know, Google is definitely tracking us. iPhone is tracking us, and there's really not much we can do about it, but whatever we can do to kind of eliminate it and protect our data as much as we can is the best thing we can do. Simply because we don't care about T-Mobile. We don't care about AT&T. We care about our data being on the dark web and us having to, you know, to get an alert from our credit card company that someone just spent $2,000 on something in, you know, another state that we're nowhere near. And now we got to dispute this, and it's aggravating. Plus your social security numbers are on the dark web. Who wants that, right? So it's inconvenient. And that's why I think it should be mandatory that all companies are no longer allowed to do something like this. Automatically just start tracking you, and then you got to turn it off manually if you know about it, because apparently these alerts are not even going out to customers. That they were not notified that T-Mobile would be adding this feature and or, you know, profiling them. So T-Mobile's really been very bad with communication with consumers over the last year or two. And it's just like they're not doing anything to adjust that. So they really gotta figure something out, because communication to your customers is very important. There's a lot of consumers that will leave T-Mobile because of this. They get fed up enough not being notified about certain charges, about certain things like this. They're just gonna go to an MVNO. There's hundreds of T-Mobile MVNOs at this point that, you know, are just as good, if not better. So anyway, there's your update. Thank you guys once again for stopping by and watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.